guys, Beast here. And without further ado, kind of getting into my little road trip that I recently did. Now, unfortunately, I did have a little bit of issues with my GoPro. Heading down to the Horizons Unlimited event down in Mariposa County near Yosemite in California. These guys from Horizon Unlimited are the ones that eat, breathe motorcycle travel. Not necessarily the most hardcore off-road or, some of the other niche motorcycle rallies that are around. But these guys are the ones that are actually going around the world, and you get to see and meet and see the presentations from these guys, ask them questions, find out all the things you've always wanted to know. Very cool event. Without further ado, leaving Central Oregon, I headed down 97. Now, unfortunately, I was having a couple issues with my GoPro. Some of it was the battery related, and the other thing was just user error. I had my Cena backpack on the GoPro, and with that, if you've got it turned off, you're not getting any audio. That was a rookie mistake. I left that off because I wanted to save the battery in case I was going to do any vlogging on the trip. And of course, without switching the mic to on, you get no audio whatsoever through the GoPro. Besides the power issue, that was very unfortunate. But went down 97 to Klamath Falls, went southeast from there on the 139. That was a route I'd never taken before. Very cool, through the Modoc area. Followed the GPS, did some fun little detours. Of course, I've got a GPS where you can set to the curviest route, which is usually the most fun. It can, we'll do it at a later date, but it finds just some of the neatest little cutovers. Saw a little exit, said lookout ahead, and so I took this little exit, and it was like 21 miles to the lookout. Well, it turns out I found the town of Lookout, California, which was a little more comical. Eventually made my way back down sort of to the Nevada side on the 395, I believe. Ran into Reno, which is kind of what you're going to start seeing here. Ran into Reno at night. It was getting a little bit dark. I wasn't too worried about it because I knew just past Reno I could head back up into the mountains. And so as I'm going through Reno, did get a little bit of footage. There was a huge motorcycle convention going on, which was pretty fun. Leaving Reno, we headed up the mountains towards Lake Tahoe. Neat little road. Of course, really would have rather done this in the daylight, just so that I could see the view. I could tell that it looked like a pretty good little stretch of road. It was still fun. You can kind of see I've got my Adventure Monster light bar connected, and so I can easily flick that on or off and really just turn the road into daylight. So although most people will tell you not to ride at night, I actually really like it. The problem is as it gets later, and of course you're just going straight up into Lake Tahoe area here, it's getting very cold, and not ever being to Lake Tahoe area and not realizing how just every square inch of it was packed, it was a little difficult to find a camp spot. End up just doing a little stealth camping on a little pullout, and you can even kind of see the moon in the background, although the GoPro just does not do it justice. Absolutely beautiful night. Loved riding this road all the way up there. Did do, like I said, a little bit of stealth camping, got up pretty early, headed my way out, checked out Lake Tahoe area. Really neat roads here. Of course, following the GPS over to Mariposa, because the Garmin has a fun little trips planned ahead. This was taking me back down southeast of Tahoe, and gonna eventually look at that morning sun coming up. It was absolutely gorgeous. Good morning to be out. A couple slow traffics that kind of tied me up. Even though I'm on the KLR, I do like to have a little fun in the mountains. Made my way down to the Nevada side again, just for a short little bit, and then back up into California again. And again, this kind of looks like Nevada, although technically I'm in California right here. I don't recall this exact highway here, but again, some of these GoPro shots are going to be really quick just because of the issues I was having with it. However, you can start to see just beautiful little tiny towns. Something that California is really known for is just the twisty little mountain highways up here. I did not stop here, but it looked like a neat little town. Loving the Garmin GPS, just taking me just about everywhere I want to go, and it would take me forever to find on Google Maps or on a paper map. I just sort of let it do its thing, and it takes me up into beautiful roads just like this. Eventually, of course, I had to come back out of the mountains, got down more into the grassy, hot, typical California scenery. Not very pretty. However, as you can see, some great roads. I caught up to these guys. I think they were on a BMW and a Yamaha, and just followed them. Although I was going a little bit quicker than them, they were having a great time. This footage just sped up 1.5 times, just so you know. And just you can kind of get a feel of just some of the great big open scenery. Again, it is a little bit drier, but it has its own beauty to it. Beautiful roads, back and forth, you know, good twisties. The best part of this little trip was once we got closer to Mariposa, there was a little bit of construction. They were repaving a section, and so we got to chat a little bit, and they turned around and they go, "You're on a KLR?" I go, "Yeah, why?" "Well, because you were keeping up with us the entire time." So got a little bit of chuckle out of that, even though I'm running the 16 tooth and it's a little long in the gears with all the luggage. I had a super good time, super twisty, great little mountain area. And then of course that leads us right into the Mariposa County Fairgrounds, which is where the Horizons Unlimited event was. Honestly, had a great time. As you can see, very simple setup. Put your tent wherever you feel like it. Of course, with Wildland Fire, I've learned to kind of see where the shade's going to be in the afternoon. Really cool meeting some of these guys. Have been all around the world. There's my home away from home. There's a little KLR shot right there as a small group. One of the great things I got to see there was Jimmy Lewis. He does an off-road school in Nevada, and I've been kind of really looking at his classes. They're one of the better ones offered on the West Coast here. Just hasn't worked out with my timing, but it was really nice to see his sort of teaching techniques and just his demonstration. And he really pushes for, you know, good versatility on balancing, and I'll let him talk about the rest, clutch control, things like that. Very cool, very honest, very down to earth guy, even as he gets this 1190 off this log. And as you can tell by the video that you'll see in a second, the log is extremely loose. Now, I did sneak away Saturday morning. I did miss a couple presentations, a few others that I had already seen that were repeats. However, Yosemite was so close that I hadn't actually seen it. I was kind of planning on coming in the east side, and it just didn't work out that way. So made my way over to the park. It was their anniversary, so it was free entrance in, so I saved a little bit of money. As you can see, there's still some water in the river there. However, I was warned by several people at the event that I might not enjoy it as much as normal because the waterfalls just wouldn't be running. There wasn't enough water because of how dry California is. It was still magnificent. The weather was gorgeous. Of course, it's just, I think, before noon here, so of course it's not the best lighting for photography. There were a few, probably more people in the park than usual. However, I think for Yosemite, they probably always have people. I'm sure it's a very busy and a very number one destination spot for folks, but still plenty of room. I didn't feel like it was overcrowded. There's a little shot you'll see here where, you know, there's quite a few parks and tour buses parked here. But I will say I pulled up there and found a spot and decided to put up a little time lapse. One of the first ones I've done on with this camera. So. So leaving the park, I went out the southern entrance and was going to do a big loop around Oak Ridge, I think it was, and back into Mariposa before I wanted to be back for a couple presentations that afternoon that I didn't want to miss. Really cool, big tunnel. As you can see here, I'll speed up the footage a little bit so it goes a little bit faster. You come out of this tunnel and it's just an absolutely just gorgeous area again. Really is kind of the window of Yosemite. A lot of the most popular photographs you'll see of the area is this shot down the valley of Yosemite. As you can tell, there's plenty of cars, plenty of tour buses, but I never really felt overwhelmed by it. And I don't really care for crowds and people that much, but really just very cool area. Highly recommended if you're ever in that area to go check it out. All right, had a great time at the event. Left there, came over the 580, I believe, into Oakland. Loved the lane splitting there. Got across the Golden Gate Bridge. Of course, no footage, unfortunately, because of the GoPro issues. Made it to Highway 1. As you can see, it's a little bit windy, a little bit foggy, and but just a great highway. You felt really horrible for going as fast as you could on that road. It was 55-mile-an-hour zones down to 35-mile-an-hour in some spots. Definitely stopped, took my time, some great photos. These guys were out fishing. Of course, coming up Highway 1, that specific night I stopped at Point Reyes. Was thinking about getting a bite to eat. Ended up catching up with a girlfriend on the cell phone. And while I was doing that, I was taking an amazing time lapse of the moon. And also, you can see as the fog comes in, it kind of glares out the moon a little bit, but still really cool. Really enjoyed it. Had a great night before I headed up and finally found a campground up in California.